Hello and welcome to Statistics Online at BMCC. I'm Gary Parker, your teacher this summer. Just wanted to give you a quick orientation. The summer class is shorter than classes in fall, winter, or spring. So in fall, winter, and spring we have 11 weeks for a class like this. Here we only have 8.5 weeks. So I have that broken down here on the syllabus, each week, 1, 2, 3, and the dates for that week. I'm counting a week in this class as Monday through Sunday. So a week starts on a Monday, and your assignments for that week are due by Sunday. Some are due on Friday or Saturday. Pay attention to the due dates. I list the sections of the book that we're going to cover each week. One weird one is the probability section, which is section P1, which is in the appendix of the book, the back of the book. You should get the book as soon as possible. So I sent you an email a couple of days ago. Check that out. I have links to get the book. The book is available online through the publisher, Wiley, or you can find a used copy online. So given all the screen time we have, I highly recommend the used print copy. Get that as soon as possible. You got to start reading that in week 1. If you're having trouble with that, let me know. This is the publisher's website where you can get, say, the ebook, and you could go for the 150-day rental for $54. If it's something you don't think you're going to look at again after this course, if you're going to go on and do more work in statistics, then it might be something you want to keep. So you might want to do the ebook that you can access for as long as this company exists, or get the print copy. And again, given all the screen time we have these days, I would highly recommend the print copy. That's what I use. I have a copy I carry around, working at home. At the moment, I'm on the road, so I can't show you my print copy. Anyway, up to you how to do that. It is not available through BibliU. BibliU has been troublesome over the past year or so that we've had them. They overcharged for the book, and they made their own ebook version that didn't quite display right often. So we're not using BibliU. You have to get the book either through the publisher or find a used copy that you can get delivered to you online. Let's see, read the syllabus as soon as possible. It goes over the rules for the class. Please read it carefully. Assignments for this class are kind of online. Since it's an online class, you got practice problems, which you can do repeatedly up to the due date. So each problem you get 3 tries. If you get it wrong at the 3rd try, then we show you the answer and you can do a similar problem to get full credit. There's a reading quiz every week. Sometimes those reading quizzes are on Canvas, kind of like multiple choice or fill in the blank or type a response. Any place you have to type a response, the computer cannot grade it. I have to grade it. So you will get no grade on that part until I go in and grade it. I usually grade it a few days after it is due. So your grade for those assignments will not look good until I finish grading it. Apologies, but that's the way it goes. Application assignment each week is usually written on paper. So I will give you some statistical thing to analyze. You'll do some calculations, maybe use a spreadsheet, and then you will write up some details about that on paper and likely give me a link to a spreadsheet. Sometimes they will be typed. I'm avoiding a lot of typed assignments lately because I find too many people over the last few years are using AI to do their work for them. I'll talk more about AI assignments in a minute. Exams, there are 2 exams, a midterm, 4th week, and a final exam in the 9th week, but it's not a full week, so it's really 8.5 weeks. And those exams are on paper. They have to be taken in a physical location, like a BMCC testing center. So check out the BMCC testing center page to find out which center you're going to go to take your tests. You have to take the tests in person. They are not online. Contact me if you need any help with that. Late work, you get late passes for only the practice type problems, and you have 20 late passes to use. Each late pass gives you 2 extra days to get it done. You can apply a few of those, and then you're out of luck if you don't get it done within, say, a week of when it was due. There are reading quizzes. I will not accept those late. Applications, you can turn them in within a week of the due date, no more, and the exams have to be taken on one of the listed days. You need to have time for this class. So this is a 4-credit class, so that would mean the class in person would meet 4 hours a week, and you'd be expected for each of those hours to spend another 2 or 3 working on the course outside of class. So that means normally you would need 12 to 16 hours each week to work on this class. Since this class is covered in 8.5 weeks instead of 11, that means you're going to need more than that if you want to survive. So to do well in this class, you need to have time you can budget every day, at least like 15 hours a week, and then you have to be able to read the book, take notes on both the book and the assignments, and be organized. If you don't have time for this, then you should drop the class soon. Contact me if you have any concerns about that. In addition to the book, you are going to need a scientific calculator. Now, when I'm on a computer, I often use the Desmos online calculator, but you need to have your own scientific calculator for when you take the exams, and you should practice using it in between. Here, I recommend a Casio scientific calculator or a TI scientific calculator. You do not need a graphing calculator, so you shouldn't spend more than like $20 on a calculator for this class. So if I do a quick Google search for scientific calculators, then I can see things like a Texas Instruments, like this one right here is okay, not great because it doesn't do fractions very well. You'd have to use parentheses instead. This $20 one does fractions. This $15, $16 one does fractions. Let's see, that one does not. This one does do fractions. Again, this is a great one right here. There's a lot of great calculators you can get for under $20. You want one that can do fractions. There's no algebra in this class, but there is arithmetic. And when we have to do complicated calculations, we will either use, let's go to the home page, STAT243, which is a program online that comes with the book. So if we go over to useful websites, I have a link to STAT243 right here. And so STAT243 again is part of our book. The publishers of the book created this app that does all kinds of statistics. Anyone can use it for free, but again, it's specifically designed for our book. So we'll start off in chapters 1 and 2 in the descriptive statistics section. So we'll go through all of these options here. And then starting in week, I guess that's going to be chapters 1 and 2, weeks 1, 2, and 3. And then starting in week 4, we will start jumping into what's called inferential statistics, which is this second column here, and then the third column. And then in week 6 or 7, we will get into the theoretical distributions here and the sampling distributions here. If you take a second course in statistics, you'll get into this last row of stuff here. But we do not offer a second statistics course at BMCC. Other thing you'll end up using for this class is a spreadsheet. I will use Google Sheets for all my tutorials, and I will give you sample spreadsheets that have calculations built in that you can reuse, and I'll show you how to use them as the course goes on. Don't just look at the to-do list for this class, because there's lots of other stuff that's not graded that you need to look at. You'll be sharing stuff with me, so you need to know how to share with Google, or if you prefer Microsoft, you can share with Microsoft, but you will use shareable documents. It's rare that you will upload anything except an image of, say, written work. You'll need to take the syllabus quiz after you read the syllabus, just to confirm you know the policies. Autobiography to do to introduce yourself to me and the rest of the class. I have a YouTube playlist with tons of videos about everything in this course. There's an assignment where you're going to confirm your testing location in the first week. Most weeks have a pretty similar setup. There's going to be the goals for the week that describe the sections and the main topics, videos related to that you really ought to watch. Sometimes there'll be a surprise quiz. That's a maybe for next week, the second week. There'll always be a reading quiz, the practice assignment. Sometimes I have some other things on how to do something. So how to make charts and graphs, how to use the Excel histograms. Application 2 will be posted in week 2. So again, there's at least 3 assignments each regular week: the practice, the reading, and the application. First week, there's going to be a no AI assignment, And then there's also going to be a use AI assignment. So sometimes I'm just going to specifically ask you to use AI, and I'm going to tell you how to use AI to do stuff. What's inappropriate is to just say copy something I give you into AI and then copy the AI response and give it to me. That is not your work. The point here is not to collect points, it is to learn some statistics that's going to be useful for you in your future. Let's see, what else? Writing. You're going to do a lot of writing for me in this class. So in the syllabus and over here I have just some tips about writing about quantitative, numerical information. So please read this carefully. The fundamental thing to think about is my writing principle down here. And basically what it means is if I look at a response you wrote, a sentence, I should not have to look back at the question to figure out what you're talking about. I should be able to just read your response and get it. Like, oh yeah, okay, I totally get what they're telling me. But if I have to look back at the question I asked you, that means you did not respond sufficiently. And I will be pretty tough on that in the first few weeks to make sure you're paying attention and writing clearly. So there's more reading and writing in this class than any other math class you've probably ever had. Let's see, I think that's it for now. So again, your mission number 1 is get the book as soon as possible because you're going to have to start reading that right away. Let's see, let's go look at my copy of the book here. So this is, if you get the ebook from the publisher, it will look a lot like this one right here. Nice table of contents. We're going to do Unit A, Chapters 1 and 2. That's descriptive statistics. So you want to get into that right away. And that's going to take the first 3 weeks to get through Chapters 1 and 2. And then in week 4, we're going to jump into inferential statistics with Chapters 3 and 4. And then in the last 3 weeks of the term, we are going to get into Chapters 5 and 6. So in this book, we're going to get through Units A, B, and C, Chapters 1 through 6, and then hiding at the end is Chapter P. We are only going to do Section 1 on probability in week 3. And again, this is normally an 11-week course. In the summer, it's only 8.5 weeks, so it moves a bit fast. So you want to definitely hit the ground running on this. If you have any questions, get in touch with me. You can, easiest ways to get me are email. I have a link here to get me a quick Canvas message. And if you ever want to meet up on the phone or through Zoom, we can definitely do that. So take care, do good math, get in touch with me if you have any questions. I'm looking forward to working with you. Have a great day. Adios.